Hello again. This is, of course, Professor Kent coming at you with another one of our business lessons. So, if you've been paying attention to this channel, you already know that I have an MBA that I got in America. So, Master of Business Administration. I was also a hotel manager for 6 years. So, sometimes I teach these business lessons when I teach adult students in Japan or college students in Japan. So, today I'm going to go over what some of my students like when I explain to them the CEO's job. So if you understand what the CEO does in America. So I learned this in school, and when I learned it, I was impressed when I learned it because, of course, it made sense. Wait a minute, if I draw here a triangle, let's draw a triangle. Let's have fatter lines. That's better. Fat lines. Here we go. If we draw a triangle here, I like to call this the triangle of influence for the CEO. And of course, a lot of people think the CEO runs the company. Of course, they actually don't. The president over here, of course, runs the company, or sometimes called the COO, Chief Operating Officer. They might run the company. But over here, of course, the CEO, Chief Executive Officer, and what do? They, of course, control this triangle of influence. So here, of course, who do you have in the company? Who makes the products? So who makes the products? Of course, you have employees. But employees are usually called stakeholders. They have a stake in the company. They hope that they have a stake, like when you put a stake in the ground, a long time ago when you wanted to own land. Of course, they're also stakeholders. Then over here, so if we have stakeholders, then here, so this is similar when I was explaining, of course, the 4 P's of marketing, or faster, cheaper. So you can have a good product, a fast product, or a cheap product, but you can't have all 3. So the CEO has to manage these relationships between employees and stakeholders, or the investors, of course. The investors are also called the stockholders because they own stock in the company. They're stockholders. And then, of course, here we have the stockholders and the customers. Yes, that's right. The consumers or the customers. Consumers or customers. Of course, consume means to use something. If you're learning English, customer means to buy something. Sometimes the consumer and the customers are the same people, and sometimes they're not. For example, if you buy a birthday present or somebody, if you buy the birthday present, you're the customer, but whoever you give it to is the consumer. They consume the products. But anyway, the point of the CEO's job here is, of course, is he has to take care of these relationships between these 3 factions of people. Of course, the investors want to make as much money as possible, as much as they can, as fast as they can. So they're just looking for more money. And then, of course, the employees, they want, of course, maybe more money, but also they want a better environment, a better care. So actually, motivation, if you want to motivate your employees, more than money, what really matters is showing you care about them. There's a famous, I won't go into it now, but there's a famous University of Michigan light bulb experiment where they just changed the light bulb, and the employees thought they cared about them, so their motivation went up. So you can research that later, but it's interesting to find that. And here, the last one here, of course, the people who buy your product, who use your product, hopefully they're happy with the overall quality of it, and so they want a cheaper product, but at quality. So of course, and the investors want more money, so they want a more expensive product at a cheap price. They want a low cost but high profit. But of course, the customers want the opposite. They want they want the high quality but the cheapest product possible. So there you go again. So you can see people like Elon Musk, for example, or Steve Jobs or Bill Gates when they were CEO of those famous companies like Microsoft or Apple or Tesla. Their job is to manage the relationships. That's why they're on Twitter a lot, or they're going to conferences a lot. So their job is not actually to run the company. So they don't create the products. Some of them do, like, for example, Bill Gates, he had other titles in the company, and Steve Jobs did too. But mostly they manage this relationship between these three groups of people, like how to manage it. So, of course, I wanted to explain it today. So, as an ex hotel manager, my job was too. I was the hotel manager, so I managed the relationship between my customers and my employees. And actually, I didn't have investors, but I had the head office. Well, I had investors too. I had people who owned my hotel, but I had the head office fighting with me, and the employees fighting with me, and the customers fighting with me. So I hope that is self-explanatory today. So again, don't forget to give us a like on these videos if you're learning something, and subscribe here and watch a similar video here. And here are some popular videos on our channel. Thanks again, and see you in tomorrow's lesson.